and welcome to our Tech Talks 2014 presentation on using rubrics to assess general education outcomes. My name is Jennifer Henderson, and I am here with Angie Christiano and Amy Lambert, and we are going to be doing this presentation for you today. We all teach math over here at PVCC. So I'm going to talk for a minute about our PVCC General Education Assessment. The purpose of it is to improve and document student learning. We all know assessment takes place in the classroom. However, sometimes the part 2 and 3 of that assessment, which Angela will talk about in a minute, doesn't always get documented. So our college has developed 7 rubrics to assess various learning outcomes college-wide, from critical thinking, diversity and global awareness, information literacy, and so forth. And we here in math tend to focus the most on problem solving and technology, and sometimes they do critical thinking as well. There are rubrics that go along with each of those, which Angela will be showing you as well. Our assessment vision for the college overall is that all areas of the college will use assessment results to promote reflective thinking and stimulate conversations that guide the continuous improvement of learning. So I think the biggest part of this that our college is trying to focus on is to have reflective thinking and doing something with these assessment results instead of just, kind of moving on to the next topic. Okay. Our assessment mission is that the PVCC academic assessment team creates a culture of inquiry and evidence by providing meaningful, manageable, and sustainable assessment strategies and practices to measure learning. And we also have a once a semester meeting with all faculty, which Amy will discuss with you. These assessment results are used to inform and implement changes to improve overall learning. So we link the number of gen ed courses that a student will take to their performance on these assessments. And so what we hope to show is that the more gen ed courses a student takes, the better they are performing on our gen ed assessments. And so they do track all of this data college-wide to show this.
With our results, there's many things that we do with them. One thing is individual teachers use their results to help improve their teaching. And all of us do this as teachers. We try something and we assess, did it work, did it not work, how can I improve it? But the piece that we don't do is document. We don't document how did those changes help my students, the next semester or in 3 weeks or whenever it was you wanted them to implement that change. So the other thing we do with those results is we get together as a faculty and discuss the rubrics, discuss the results, discuss ways that we can improve and come up with effective strategies to help our students. Because one thing with PVCC is that we're a learning-centered college, so everything's about learning and improving student learning and what can we do as teachers to help our students. And lastly, we're going through the HLC process right now, so this was one thing that they recommended we improve on, was documenting our assessment results and documenting what we did to improve what we were already doing. The other thing we implemented was this, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
The GEA online tool, which is the General Education Assessment online tool. They created this at our college, and it's a way to collect and store the data. So there's 2 parts of it. One is where individual teachers input the results for each student, and then the second part is a form where we document basically what our plan is, how we changed, how we were going to improve it, and how did those improvements work. We did this with 3 courses, so that's one reason why we're all presenting together. We basically did the same thing, but for 3 different courses. So Jen used Math 092, which was Introductory to Algebra, online. Angie did Intermediate Algebra 122 online, and then my class was College Algebra 151 online.
We all did these, I believe, with face-to-face as well.
Yes.
But because this was about technology, we decided to focus on our online classes.
Yes. So there's 3 parts to our assessment, but the first part, which is common among all of us, is that we use a technology piece, which in the past we didn't have. We just talked about it in class. So we added this technology piece. It gave additional instruction for our students, which was also additional help. So when they were at home, especially if they're online, they can watch the videos, take notes while they're watching the videos, pause so they can practice problems, hit rewind if they missed a part or if they want to see a practice problem done again. So before we had this technology piece, we couldn't do this with our online students, and now we can. And what we ended up doing was using this for all of our classes. And the second part is completing the application problem. The students, we give them a rubric, and they have to show their work and explain all their steps. But then the new piece was, instead of just writing on a piece of paper, they could create a video, create a PowerPoint, do whatever they wanted to do to submit their completed problem.
So I'll talk about my class first, and I'll go through a little bit more detail, and then they can share with you what they did with their classes. I did mine with Math 092 Introductory Algebra. So what we basically do is provide the students with the learning objectives. So what do they need to know, or what is this problem relating to? And so for almost all of us, it's the objective of model and solve real world problems using blank. And for each class that might be different. For me, it was using systems of linear equations. So, and this link that I put down here is just to the curriculum for 092, and we all have that. So what we did is we gave the students a problem, which I'll show you in a minute, but before we actually gave them the problem, we sent them home to watch these videos. And so we would say, okay, watch these following videos on general linear applications involving systems. Here's more applications involving systems. Here's a specific plane and wind application. Here's an investment application. Here's a mixture problem. Now, the problem that they're going to have to do may be very similar to one of these type, especially for an 092 level student, a developmental student, but it might not be exactly what's in these videos. They're still going to have to apply their knowledge that they're gaining from both the in-class activities, if it was a face-to-face, or the other online lectures that we provide and their ebooks, etc. And they're going to have to gain knowledge from these videos, which should help them to be able to answer the questions that we're giving them. And so we sent them with these videos first and named them so they could always go back and reference. So I'm not going to just put video 1, video 2, video 3, etc., because they won't know what they're about to watch. And then we presented them with this problem. And when I did it, I asked them to kind of think about something first, because for the average developmental student, this plane problem where you're flying from Phoenix to Chicago and then Chicago back, you know, there's that wind idea. One way it makes you go faster, one way it makes you go slower, or it takes you longer. And so I just wanted them to kind of think about, when you're traveling against the wind versus traveling with the wind, you know, what's going to be greater. And so just kind of some answering with reasoning. Again, they're not going to find that exact answer in the videos, but the videos should definitely help them think about it and be able to answer that. And then we ask them, you know, now please complete the following problem showing all work. Your work to this question will be graded using the rubric that we provided, because we do provide the actual rubric that we use, and Angela will be showing you that. I think that's it about the problem, but we've found increased results for sure now that we've added the technology piece.
Okay, so for the intermediate algebra level, the next level of math is Math 1-2x. We changed the learning objective appropriately. It's still model and solve real-world problems, but now we're going to take it from a linear equation level to a quadratic equation level. It's going to resemble the same process that Jen just explained in the 092 level. We present them with not only in-class lecture if they're a face-to-face class, but also some video links to lectures that they can reference on their home computer. And they could go back, rewind, revisit until they feel comfortable. So again, this is very similar. These videos are just specific to the intermediate algebra question. We're also giving them a question in this class that relates to the game Angry Birds, hoping that it spikes some interest, but really it's a projectile function, which is a quadratic function in this case. So we also give them a link to just the Angry Birds game because some people are not familiar. And then the other links are direct mathematical concepts and demonstrations. So here's our Angry Birds problem for that intermediate algebra level. They are given the function. After they watch the videos, they are asked a few questions, a few more than the 092 level because they are at a higher level of math. And then they're also given the rubric, and the rubric explains, the problem-solving steps that we will be assessing. And they have that option to provide their technology piece, whether it's a demonstration, a video, a graphic analysis, and then turn in their work.
And lastly, which is the next class, would be college algebra. And this is also modeling in real world. The objective just reads a little different. We're talking about regression models, and we're going to use our appropriate technology and interpret our results, because for our problem, we definitely need a graphing calculator. So again, there's 4 videos that they watch. Same idea with 092 and 122. And then they have their problem. With our problem, though, it's really accurate and irrelevant because it's about Maricopa County population. So there's an actual table that they go to and use the actual data of what the actual population is in Maricopa County to answer their questions. And it's, and it's relevant about things. It asks, is there a limit to the number of people that the county can sustain? And this is real life. You can't have the population continuing to grow and grow and grow. Where are you going to feed all these people? Where are they going to live? Things like that. So we get to have all those conversations in this problem. So it is more, hopefully, relevant than just, Charlie Brown has 12 apples and how many oranges does he need? So.
Okay, so this is, there's a 2-part screenshot here of our general ed rubric for problem solving. We have 6 dimensions. The first 3 are shown here. We want them to define the problem, develop a plan to solve, collect and analyze the appropriate information. So we score this on a 0, 1, 2 level. They either do not meet the standards, they need improvement, or they meet and exceed the standard. We also individualize this for them after the fact and tell them what exactly did meet, what were we looking for them to define the problem. But this right here is our generic rubric. These are the last 3 dimensions, so we want them to interpret. That's the important part of problem solving. Does it make sense? The next one, evaluate the effectiveness. That's the does it make sense? Is this a realistic answer? And then, of course, communicate the results. Okay, so this is part of that GEA online tool. There's actually another part for the individual scores. The instructors go in and they have their rosters. They select the roster of the class that they've assessed, and then they record that rubric score, so that 0, 1, 2 score for each of the 6 dimensions. Once that's done for the individual scores, then we go into this generic assessment form and we record. So in the beginning of the semester, we record what our plan is, how we plan to execute it, when we plan to execute it. When we have collected our data, we come back in here and we summarize what we found. What were our findings about the learning? Were the tools used effective? And then the most important part, as Jen mentioned earlier, is not only do we think about how to improve that student learning, how to make it better next time, but we need to document, and that's down at the bottom. What changes did we make based on our results? And then later on we say, okay, next semester we implemented these changes. Did it actually improve the learning? Okay, so back to the technology piece, because before this semester that we did this, we didn't have the videos. We didn't give them the options to present their findings in different ways, such as videos and PowerPoints and so on. So once we did implement these technology pieces, we added the videos for them to revisit. We did see increased results. The students had more resources, they felt more comfortable, and they were able to interpret their answers in a more successful manner. The students also gave us positive feedback. We used some surveys and just in-class questioning for them as well. So they did give us positive feedback. We took that and not only applied that to all of our gen ed assessments, but we also, a lot of us use that to do a modified flipped or a fully flipped course, where we've provided videos on many other units or all of our units, and that way they not only had some face-to-face time with the instructor in the class, but they also had those video resources to access at home and improve their student learning. Okay. Of course, the data management part was key for our recording and showing our results. So we had technology, which was that GEA tool, to keep track of our assessments, keep track of what we wanted to change, and keep track of what we thought about our changes. There's also some other data collection devices such as SpeedGrader that made it easier for teachers to participate. We had more teacher buy-in because the data collection was a pretty smooth process. Our last piece here was we wanted to get some colleague feedback. We had some other instructors that were doing the gen ed assignment, and we presented our ideas to them and showed them our results from this semester. And our feedback to improve our learning was maybe give them a practice assessment earlier, kind of teach them the ropes, show them how to access those videos, show them what we're looking for in their presentation of their results, and show them how to analyze the validity of those results. So we did introduce a couple practice assessments. Those are not recorded, but they prepare them for the actual GEA assessment. And then, of course, we implemented that 6-step problem-solving process and all application problems. We talked about it throughout the semester, so it wasn't a one-time thing for them.
I think that's it. Hope
Thank
you
you.
enjoyed.
Thank you.